Well, hello, this is Yvonne Teoh Bource from Connect to Soul with your weekly soul wisdom for the week of July 9th, 2018. Gosh, I'm rushing the years away. And if you're wondering where I am, this is a wonderful tropical resort in Terengganu in the west coast of, on the east coast. See, I'm a bit lost at the moment. I've just had a wonderful massage, so bear with me. I'm in holiday mode, but I didn't want to miss out on doing this video for you. So on the east coast of Malaysia, I am over here for just 10 days to celebrate my daughter's birthday and spend some time with her family. So I thought rather than just lock myself up in a room, I would share with you this holiday mode of the tropics. And as you can hear the sea in the background, we're at a beautiful beach. There's a hammock just within ear, within my sight, and it looks very inviting. And I thought that as a result of this, I was thinking about how did I get here, because for me it's always how did I create this. And so I thought the topic today I would like to talk about when what you ask for aligns with what you need for your highest good, then to just manifest whatever it is that you ask for. But when you ask for something that isn't necessarily for your highest good, and those are the things that, we ask for things that we want to have or do, and they really aren't going to expand us or aren't going to support our journey, and we wonder why they don't turn up. Well, if they don't turn up, I can assure you it's because it's not for your highest good. Or, as I always say, there must be something better on the way. So it's an interesting subject, isn't it? Because we ask for things and then they don't turn up. And you think, well, why not? So last year, I suddenly realized that I had not had a holiday, or what I would call a holiday, for many, many years. And a holiday to me is something like this, where somebody is bringing me my drinks and my food, and I can just lie back and do absolutely nothing. And I haven't done that for a very, very long time. And I'm a bit of a 5-star girl. I've said that many times. So, again, I'm really fortunate because this is, my son-in-law and my daughter have given this to me as a gift. And I'm just loving it because it's exactly what I need right now. I've had a very busy year and a very hectic last year, and just to spend this time doing absolutely nothing and having my glass of water brought to me and having my bed made. Now you might say I do that when I go on retreat, but of course when I go on retreat I'm constantly in work mode, but constantly looking after other people. So this is just a manifestation of what I definitely must be needing because it has turned up. And it made me think about, wow, I must have aligned what I've asked for and what I needed. And here it is. So let's look at how much we ask for that we don't have and just go, well, maybe it's not what I need. And maybe I need to spend more time asking my soul self, what is it that I need before we actually make the request. Because we do ask for a lot of stuff that we really don't need. I'd like to have, and it's usually material stuff that we think, oh, we must have that. Why? I guess as we get older, we realize we need less and less stuff. But stuff doesn't really make you happy. It doesn't give you your needs met. So it's going to be a fairly short one today because I am in holiday mode, and I'm going to stay in holiday mode. And behind me I can see there's a lovely man, excuse me, there's a little buggy flying about, a lovely young man who's tending to the garden. It's a beautiful place here. It's a very large resort, and so there are all sorts of things that you can do. There's the sea, there are some beautiful pools, tonight I'm hoping that they're going to have a baby turtle release, and that's always so good because they have a turtle conservation program going here, and the two people, or the young man that's actually in charge of it, which I believe is comes from Melbourne, Australia, of course. I've had a lovely talk to him. They go crab hunting at night, and it's just a beautiful place to be. What I think we don't do often enough is to recognize when we are somewhere and we love it, we often feel very grateful, and so you ought to feel very grateful. But we don't always claim that we couldn't be here if we hadn't created it. And what I mean by created it, I think I talked about it last week, that a lot of my students are now talking about it's a prepaid system. So life gives to you what you have already put in. It's not the other way around. Life doesn't give to you first and then you have to put in. It's the other way around. So whatever you put into life, life responds to. So when good things happen to you, celebrate that and go, wow. You know how you often say, well, I must have done something good. Or sometimes we say, oh, I must have done something bad. Well, it's not about good and bad. It is about an energy vibration that aligns with your needs and and your request. So when you keep your energy at a level where your request exists, then it has to come back to you. It has no option, because that is how the creative process works. And as you know, that by now, if you've listened to me before, that I'm pretty fascinated by how the creative process works. Nature shows us all the time. You plant a seed in the soil, and seed has to find its way through its husk, and it's got to find its way out through the soil, and then it's got to, it's got to grow into a seedling, and then it's got to grow into whatever it's meant to grow. And it's all a process. And during that process, there are many challenges that have to be met to be able to survive it. Otherwise, we are the survivors. And so, even with with the turtle project here, that they save, because turtle eggs are quite a delicacy in some Asian countries, and so they have huge protection programs going where they salvage the eggs and they dig them into the sand, and then they allow them to the gestation period, and they eventually, when they come to the surface, they see them safely to sea, because even from the moment that they come through the sand and come out and have to find the trail to the sea, there are so many predators waiting, to pounce. So there are thousands of eggs laid because so few make it to adulthood. And so it's always a great joy to be part of that kind of thing. But we are no different, right? We place a seed, and the seed is always about an idea, a thought, something that we would really like to happen in our lives, or something that we would like to experience, or we'd like to be. And then that's the seed, but the seed needs to be nurtured, and the seed needs to be allowed to germinate, and then to become the first sign of life. But we get so impatient so often, and then when things aren't really happening, we go, well, nothing's happening, so I'm getting on to something else. And then we often jump ship, and because that isn't happening when we wanted it to, we jump ship to another idea, another thought, and we take away the energy from that which is already germinating. So if something's really important to you and you really want it to happen, there is a process to go through. So you have the idea, you have the seed, you ask for it, and then, you send it lots of love. And then for me, it's always this or something better, because in my limited understanding, even now, I am always in awe of how it can be delivered in ways that I could never even have dreamt of, right? So that is what I do. I just understand that it's not up to me to work out the how-tos. What is up to me is to do the steps necessary for the process, and that is to plant the seed, to nurture the seed, to have faith that if I've planted the seed and I've nurtured the seed, and when I say nurture, I have actually impregnated it with love, energy, and asked for this or something better and the highest good for me and or concerned, then I have to let it go. I have to allow it to do what it's designed to do, and that is to grow into a seedling and to become whatever it can become to the highest possibility. And the how-to then is taken over by the creative process, not by me. But if I get caught in, how do I do this? My job is to look for signs. If I get a sign that I'm supposed to go here, then I need to go there, even if it doesn't make sense, because I need to trust that something is asking me to go there. And maybe, just maybe, I'll find what I'm looking for. But often we don't trust that because we create from the head. We think that if we don't have the knowledge, then it can't work. Well, for me, what I've understood is that the more that I think I know something, the more that I realize I don't know. So I let go of the knowing in how it's going to be delivered. But I do have the knowing that if it's for my highest good and it's aligned with my needs, and what my needs are things that are going to keep me at a high vibration for my life force to live its full glorious expression in the physical. And so as long as I keep tuned to that and I am willing to operate on that level, then everything that I need will be brought forth. And I need to trust that, because even if it's brought forth, it's not always exactly as you want it to be. So then you might argue with it and go, well, I'm not going there. But please realize that this creative process, it has steps. Don't abort, don't jump ship. Wait and see what happens. And just stay focused on what it would feel like if you have. I can't tell you how many times I go to sleep thinking, wouldn't it be lovely just to be on a tropical beach and, and having some time to myself and just relaxing. And here I am, right? And then I just look at it and I'm in awe. I'm always in awe when things come to me that I've actually asked for or I've daydreamed about. One of my daydreams is to go on a world cruise. And so I just see myself on a not too big a ship. But, I've been on a cruise and I loved it. And so that would be nice. It's another place where you can just put your feet up and everything's done for you. I think that's probably the need that I had for everything done for you, to give yourself a break. I think everybody needs to do that. Everybody needs to take time out. It's so important to take time out. And that's one of the reasons I run the retreats also. It's for the people to be able to take 7 days of time out. And as you know, all of the work that I do, all the links to everything you can find in the description box below. And, you can tune into anything that I've done. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can become a member of the Connect to Soul community, etc., etc. And that's really all that I wanted to talk to you about today. This is being kind to me. And so I really want to encourage you to be kind to you, because we expect a lot from this physical being, and we don't always support it. In fact, a lot of the time we don't support it. We don't eat the right foods. We take in substances that obviously are actually so bad for us. And we just expect to get up the next morning and for this body to just get on with it. And that's very unkind, The more we look after ourselves, it's interesting watching young parents with newborns and with young children. We take so much care of our children and to make sure that they grow into, healthy adulthood. If we took care of ourselves for the rest of our lives that way, we would do much better, but we don't. Most of us don't. We get caught in this, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to go to work, I have to. And there's a beautiful woman, and she'll know who I'm talking about, who has spent so much time recently focused on doing the right thing for her workplace, and often, putting herself last and not doing things she wanted to do because work was something that she was so focused on doing right. And then all of a sudden, there was a change of policy or whatever they did, and it was obvious that they didn't appreciate any of what she'd done. And so it's a matter of going, okay, do you put other people first all the time? Do you put your work first all the time? Or do you put your family and your heart needs first? The more that you put your heart needs first, is this thing that I always talk about every day. This morning, for the first time ever, I did not get a chance to do my spiritual practice. And I've been quite off center all day, because that just doesn't mean, it means I'm not complete. However, I didn't struggle with it. I just went, okay, you're telling me this is meant to be my time out. So I'm having time out. And then I wasn't going to, well, there was a little whisper that said that you don't need to do the video. But that is not me. I really wanted to share this beautiful place with you. And so have a little look. Isn't that just magnificent? Right? It is the kind of place that you dream about when you do your meditations and you have your tropical island, right? Well, it's not an island, but it is definitely a tropical beach. And if you listen, you can hear the waves beating on the shore. And my grandchildren love it. And so I'm very fortunate. I've spent the day here with my family, and I'm having some time out, but I wanted to share it with you. So I didn't have any cards. I haven't got any great wisdoms this week, other than I want you to learn to put together your needs and align it with your requests. So I remember a book by, the brain's gone away, Mr. Kiyosaki. He said that, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you all know, you've all read it, and if you haven't, you need to. And he always said, before you choose to do anything, ask yourself, is what I'm about to buy, it was always about buying, what I'm about to buy, is it going to be an asset or a liability? So in other words, if it's a liability, it's never going to add to you. It's going to detract from you or subtract from you. But if it's an asset, it's going to add to you. So, and it's a really good question to ask yourself whenever you go to do anything. Is what I'm about to do or say or be or ask for, is it going to add to me, or is it not going to add to me? Is it going to be beneficial for me, or is it not going to be beneficial for me? And you know how to make the choice for you then. So it's probably not as in-depth as usual, but I didn't want to miss out on this week, so I'm here for another couple of nights, and I don't come back to Australia until the 13th of July. So I wish you a wonderful week. Take care of you. Think about what your needs are and how you would like them to be met, and just ask for the highest possibility for you and all concerned. Have a little daydream about it and allow it to be delivered to you in its own good time. So have a fantastic week. Love yourself more, because the more you love yourself, the more wonderful things will come your way. So next week, I promise you, I will do a more in-depth discussion, but now you've got me in true holiday mode. I love you. Be kind to you.